all for one at our table.
Breaking news, murder at McDonald's. Reporter Christina Noce live at a scene in Vero Beach, getting the details right now. Plus,
the woman behind her started screaming and swearing.
We hear more from the passengers of a West Palm Beach bound flight diverted because of an unruly passenger.
That's right. We want to get back to that murder at McDonald's as we're learning more information right now.
Yeah, and for that, we want to check in with News Channel 5's Christina Noce. She is live at the scene in Vero Beach. Christina.
Right now we're live on at one of the McDonald's along US 1. This is near the 20th Street intersection. If you take a look, you can see there's someone there right now. It looks like from a crime scene unit, still collecting evidence. She's been in there all morning. You can see crime scene tape surrounding the entire restaurant, even all the way back to the drive-thru. Well, we can still see some employees inside, but this restaurant is not open. No one has been coming in or out, including the employees. Now, the Indian River County Sheriff's Office says they're working with Vero Beach Police on a murder that happened here at this McDonald's last night. The Sheriff's Office says it happened around 9:30. Now, as far as what happened and if this crime took place inside the restaurant or outside, we are still working to figure that out. We have calls right now into the Vero Beach Police Department, hoping to get more information for you shortly. We're live in Vero Beach. Christina Noce, WPTV News Channel 5.
All right, good morning. Today is going to be pretty similar to yesterday, starting out pretty similar. 82 in West Palm Beach, the cooler spot, usually 72 in Okeechobee, and it's 74 degrees in Vero right now. A couple of showers are trying to creep on shore this morning, but most of them are dying out before they get there. There's one trying to creep on into Martin County this morning, but I do think we'll have a pretty good shot for coastal showers, especially before noon, and then those showers and a few thunderstorms are going to push farther inland for the afternoon hours. High temperatures will be in the lower 90s, but of course factor in that lovely South Florida humidity. It's going to feel closer to 100 degrees. I do want to update you on what's going on out in the tropics. This will have no impact on us here in South Florida, but we do have Tropical Storm Dolly. It is forecast to go into central Mexico, so once again, no impacts on us. Just keeping you updated. I'll have more coming up.
Checking in now on our Chopper 5 time saver traffic this morning. Things seem to be up to speed right here on I-95 in Okeechobee Boulevard. Definitely some folks starting to move on out this morning, a Tuesday morning. Time to get back to work after that long holiday weekend. 95 accident-free right now. The same for the Turnpike in Palm Beach County and the Treasure Coast.
Let's get back to some more breaking news from overnight, and it's a story you'll be talking about today. A flight had to make a stop on its way to West Palm Beach after passengers say a woman on board apparently lost it. News Channel 5's Chris Stewart live at Palm Beach International Airport with how a reclining seat may be at the center of it all. Right, Chris?
Yeah, Mike, that's right. I mean, I don't know a lot of people who actually like it when the person in front of them on a plane reclines their seat back. But according to passengers on a Delta flight that was headed here to West Palm Beach last night, it made a woman on board so angry that she demanded the plane land. The plane was supposed to be a straight flight from LaGuardia up in New York to here at PBIA, but the captain decided to put this plane down in Jacksonville after a woman apparently started yelling, swearing, and screaming on board. We talked to a passenger who was sitting right near this confrontation as it was happening. He says that the person he was sitting next to reclined their seat back, and that made the woman sitting behind her extremely angry.
This woman who was sitting next to me knitting actually just tried reclining her seat back. The woman behind her started screaming and swearing, and then a flight attendant came over, and that just exacerbated what was going on, and then she demanded that the flight land.
And passengers tell us that when the flight landed, 3 police officers came on board and physically escorted this woman off the plane. We just got a statement a couple minutes ago, actually, from Delta confirming that an unruly passenger was the reason for this plane to land, saying that the captain using an abundance of caution was the reason he decided to put this plane down in Jacksonville. The passengers we talked to saying this plane got in last night around 11:15, and that was an hour and a half later than scheduled. We're live here at Palm Beach International. Chris Stewart, WPTV News Channel 5.
Also, an incident on board a flight over Central Florida. A passenger shot this cell phone video from inside the cabin, and talk about a scary experience. Oxygen masks dropped down after a drop in cabin pressure. It was an Allegiant Airlines flight headed from Grand Rapids, Michigan to the Sanford Airport. The pilot landed safely in South Carolina, and no injuries were reported, and passengers ended up on a different plane and moved on to their destination. Another flight had to make an emergency landing yesterday, but this one out west. Moments after the American Airlines flight took off from LAX Airport in Los Angeles, the captain reported this, a cracked windshield, and immediately returned to the airport. A passenger snapped a photo after a safe landing. Those passengers and crew members switched to a different plane. That plane was headed to Dallas-Fort Worth Airport.
Definitely one of those nights when you're glad to be on the ground. This morning, friends are remembering a boy killed in a boat fire last weekend. His mother, Karen Lockie, is a local painter. She also is the art manager at the Stewart Coffee Company. She goes there several times a week to decorate. Employees say she would often bring her 11-year-old son, Charlie.
He was shy and sweet. He had autism. He wasn't very verbal, but he signed and he did talk some.
Ashley Wyndon, who you just heard from, was shocked when she heard about this boat fire on Sunday. And as the news of the fire spread, Charlie's therapist dropped off flowers at the dock. Stewart police say there were 2 explosions on the sailboat. The last was from a propane tank, but they don't know what caused the initial fire. Witnesses are asking if more could have been done. Carol Douglas, who saw the fire, says when firefighters arrived, they only had 2 fire extinguishers. The challenge came because the boat was not dockside. Stewart Fire Rescue Chief David Dial says all of the city's commercial docks have fire suppression systems, but they didn't have multi-purpose police fireboats. They were too costly to keep. Friends of the family have started a foundation in Charlie's name. You can log on to our website, WPTV.com, to learn how you can help.
Happening today, lawyers for Detroit will try to convince a judge at the start of the city's bankruptcy trial that it plans to wipe out billions of dollars in debt, and that plan should be approved. The trial begins this morning. A federal court comes just more than 13 months after Detroit became the largest U.S. city to file for bankruptcy. A spokesman for Detroit emergency manager says the city expects to cut $12 billion in unsecured debt to about $5 billion.
Now to a developing story closer to home. A Palm Beach County Sheriff's deputy was justified when he shot and killed a West Palm Beach man. The Sun-Sentinel is reporting the state concluded Deputy Ernest Cantu legally used deadly force to shoot and kill Tenoris Williams. Deputy Cantu was investigating a burglary when Williams allegedly grabbed his taser, then went for his gun. That's when Cantu shot Williams in the stomach, then again in the head when he continued to attack.
Happening today, the battle over gun ranges in West Palm Beach moves to the City Commission. Commissioners set to take the first of 2 votes on where future gun ranges are allowed to be. One creating a 1,000-foot buffer between a gun range and neighborhoods would also include public parks. If the rules are approved, a second vote would likely come at next Wednesday's meeting.
Don't ever let it be said South Floridians don't watch out for each other. We've got details on this rescue. You'll see it in just a second here when we come back.
Plus, not only could the new iPhone screen get bigger and battery last longer, but now experts think it allow you to leave your wallet at home, and we'll talk about it.
Count on News Channel 5 and our exclusive news partnership with Scripps Treasure Coast newspapers for local coverage you can count on.
20 minutes till 6, we have local coverage this morning as a Good Samaritan rescued a sinking boat in Martin County. Happened at the Martin County Marina near Pendarus Cove Park at about 6 o'clock. The pair were on a pontoon boat when they say the bilge pump stopped working. That's when the vessel started going down fast. But a nearby jet skier and a boater saw them in trouble and jumped into action.
Yeah, I got his life preserver on and we were in the water in no time, within 10 minutes.
I hopped in the water. We helped one gentleman and a lady off their boat onto ours.
The man was taken to the hospital. His injuries don't appear to be serious.
The race for Tallahassee didn't take a Labor Day break as Governor Rick Scott and challenger Charlie Crist spent the holiday trading jabs. Scott kicked off a 2-week bus tour yesterday touting a tax cut plan we told you about, where he says he'll cut $1 billion in taxes over the next 2 years. Crist, on the other hand, spent yesterday advocating to increase Florida's minimum wage. Polls listed to essentially tied as we inch closer to November.
Apple lovers, listen up this morning for this consumer alert. A person familiar with information about the company's latest release tells Bloomberg.com that the newest iPhone can also be a mobile wallet. Apple has reportedly teamed up with Visa, MasterCard, and American Express to make mobile payments easier by including a near-field communications chip. The new chip, plus the Touch ID fingerprint recognition reader, will allow you to pay for things in a store with the touch of a finger. The announcement about the new technology is expected next week when Apple debuts its latest iPhone. And if an airline leaves it up to you to find your own in-flight entertainment, then you want to see that paid back on your ticket. That's according to a survey from OSERV. 87% of adult travelers questioned believe the bring your own device policy saves airlines money, and 94% say they deserve to benefit from the savings. The surveyed travelers said they would like to see either free entertainment, cheaper airline fares, or maybe even a break on those baggage fees. Right now, Southwest Airlines is the largest U.S. carrier with the Bring Your Own Device, or BYOD, policy, offering free access to 20 channels of live TV.
Federal investigators are looking into allegations that a hacker stole nude photos of several famous celebrities and posted them online. The FBI announced yesterday afternoon it is addressing the allegations, but wouldn't elaborate on how they're going about determining how those images were leaked. Photos of actresses like Jennifer Lawrence first started appearing online Sunday, allegedly taken from Apple's iCloud network.
All right, we're mostly dry right now, but it is the rainy season. You know the drill. We'll see rain later on today, but where and when can you expect it? We'll talk about it all coming up in your forecast.
Good, right here at Gateway and I-95. No problems reported throughout the area.
And wet weather in the Pacific Northwest causes a landslide and, of all places, a cemetery. That story and more when we come back.
A day meant for fun turned tragic for a South Florida family. The Sun Sentinel was reporting a boy died from an apparent drowning on Fort Lauderdale Beach. Police say the boy had been missing for a long time before family and friends called them, as well as lifeguards. Lifeguards were the ones who found the boy in the water near the International Swimming Hall of Fame. He was rushed to the hospital, but it was too late.
A couple's recovering this morning after being stranded off the coast of Anclote Key for nearly a week. Bogdan and Elizabeth Makowski were first reported missing Friday morning. No one had heard from the couple since last weekend. They were supposed to come back last Tuesday, never showed up. That's when the Coast Guard found the two early Saturday morning and brought them ashore. At last check, the two Hudson natives were listed in stable condition. Investigators continuing this morning to look into what caused a plane to crash off the coast of St. Petersburg this weekend. Now new questions are being raised. People at the scene say Coast Guard responders asked for civilian divers Sunday to go under to try to rescue the pilot. Apparently, the Coast Guard responders weren't equipped to dive and had to wait for other responders to arrive. The NTSB is now on the scene investigating the wreckage to try to figure out what caused it to go down in the first place.
A Daytona Beach woman is waking up in jail after she allegedly attacked a couple with a machete. Investigators say this woman right here, Aisha Gillis, she attacked a family member and his girlfriend yesterday at his grandmother's home. Police say the two got into an argument over family issues, and Gillis went outside. When she came back, she had the machete. She started swinging. The couple, though, was able to get the knife away from her before driving to the hospital. Over to Cape Canaveral, where another woman is behind bars, but for a very different crime. Brevard County Sheriff deputies arrested Rosa Gecko yesterday for animal cruelty. Deputies say she left her dog in the car while she went to the beach. The dog is now with animal control.
Listen to this story across the country.
Jesse Shaver was playing near a creek in Oregon City when he stepped on a log that had a swarm of bees inside. Jesse collapsed, and that's when their dog jumped into action. She grabbed Jesse's pant leg, started dragging him away. She then pulled Jesse onto her back and carried him to his mother. That's just really amazing there. Both Jesse and the dog are expected to be fine.
All right, warm and humid out there, but that's pretty typical this time of the year. 82 right now in West Palm Beach. It's 74 in Vero, 77 degrees in Orlando. So very warm and muggy. It's a little bit cooler out in Lake Okeechobee. It's 72 in Okeechobee right now. We do have a couple little showers making their way onshore, just some very light rain moving through Fort Pierce right now. And coastal showers are certainly a possibility as we go throughout the morning, especially before noon. There's a couple other little showers that are still offshore, but everything is moving from the east to the west. So we will have have the possibility for showers and a couple thunderstorms for the afternoon as well. So let me take you through Vipercast to help you plan ahead. So this is 9:30. I think the best chances for rain, especially along the coast and along I-95 and the Turnpike, will be between about 9 a.m. and about noon. And then this is 12:30. So if you going to lunch today, go ahead and bring the umbrella, especially if you're going to be walking on your way to lunch. And then this is 3 o'clock. So everything is going to be pushing inland out towards Lake Okeechobee, out towards Okeechobee County and our western Palm Beach and western Martin County, excuse me. And then for the evening, everything is going to clear out and push out towards the west. So the other story today will be how hot it is. I mean, the temperature is only in the low 90s, but of course, it's going to feel closer to 100 degrees. So Belle Glade today, 93 degrees, 91 in Wellington, 90 in Jupiter, 92 degrees this afternoon in Port St. Lucie. Okeechobee, your high temperature today, 92. So if you're going to be out at the beach, you will see some morning showers, so maybe the better time to get out there will be the afternoon, although it will be quite hot and humid. Those water temps are very warm this time of the year as well, 87 degrees for the water temperature. Let's take you out to the tropics. We have Tropical Storm Dolly, not going to have any impacts to us here on South Florida, but it is going to move to the northwest, and all the computer models are very consistent about sending it into central Mexico by tomorrow morning, so no impacts for us. Here's your 7-day forecast. Highs in the low 90s each day with increasing rain chances by Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Chopper 5 will be off the ground coming up in about 9 minutes, and hopefully Johan can check on a situation we believe we have in Belle Glade right around Highway 27. It may really slow some of you down this morning, so we'll try and see if there's something there. In the meantime, we are watching your commute from Boca, I-95, Glades Road, north and southbound traffic moving along quite nicely. The Turnpike also problem-free as we speak.
Maybe some of you are from up north in New Jersey and moved down here. You might be familiar with this casino in Atlantic City. It's the Revel Casino, and it closes its door in just a couple of hours. The hotel portion closed yesterday. Here's a live look at the building. Revel had just been open for 2 years, and it was hoping it could turn around Atlantic City's struggling casino market. But by the middle of this month, 4 of the city's 12 casinos will have gone out of business. Revel will be its costliest at nearly $2.5 billion.
When we get back, imagine getting back from your Labor Day trip only to find out someone broke into your home. We'll have details on what happened to this Florida family.
Plus, we hear from the sister of an American being held prisoner in North Korea, her plea for mercy, when we get back on this Tuesday morning.
All right, let's take a look at what's going on in the tropics right now. We have Tropical Storm Dolly sitting in the southern Gulf of Mexico. It's going to have no impacts to us here in South Florida, but just want to keep you updated. All of the computer models are sending it into central Mexico by the time we get into tomorrow morning. So once again, no impacts here in South Florida. There is another little area of low pressure that we're going to be watching over the next 5 days. This is the time of year where we start to watch the African coast. So there's a little area of low pressure that could develop over the next few days. Only about a 20% chance for development, but of course something that we're going to keep you up to date on. I'll have your local forecast coming up in a few minutes.
Thanks, Lisa. New this morning in North Korea, Cunniff Bay's sister is asking North Korean authorities for mercy after allowing a reporter to interview him. The American is serving a 15-year prison sentence because North Korea claims he was a part of a Christian plot to overthrow the regime. Ed Payne has more on this story.
It's painful to just watch him time after time being put on camera by the DPRK officials to make the same plea to our government.
Cunniff Bay is serving a 15-year prison sentence. North Korea claims he was part of a Christian plot to overthrow the regime. He's one of 3 Americans detained in North Korea. On Monday, the regime unexpectedly allowed a CNN journalist to interview the men. As North Korean officials looked on, all 3 said they have signed statements admitting their guilt. And all 3 said they hope the U.S. government will send an envoy to help them.
I do believe that special envoy need to come in order to resolve the situation that I am in right now. So I do ask the U.S. government to send an envoy as soon as possible. And otherwise, I think that's the only hope that I have right now in order for me to go home, be reunited with my family.
Now Bay's sister is speaking out.
We know that they've been working hard behind the scenes, but the fact remains he's still there after 2 years. So, I think we reiterate our plea and saying, this time, if there was ever a time to step up the efforts, it's now. They're signaling a window. Please respond. Please bring them home.
As for the others, Jeffrey Edward Fowle is an American tourist accused of leaving a Bible in a hotel room where he was staying. And Matthew Todd Miller is accused of tearing up his tourist visa and seeking asylum after entering North Korea. Both were arrested in April. Ed Payne, WPTV News Channel 5.
Big story breaking this morning. U.S. military forces striking back at Islamic extremists attacking Somalia. The Pentagon says they targeted fighters for the Al-Shabaab network, which has ties to al-Qaeda. Now, Somali officials say U.S. forces attacked an interrogation center Sunday. The results of the operation still being assessed, but all of the attackers, 3 soldiers and 2 civilians, were killed.
Hope is fading in France as emergency responders continue to sift through the rubble of a collapsed apartment building. An explosion leveled the 4-story building in a Paris suburb this weekend. The exact cause of the blast has not been confirmed, but officials say early indications are that it was a gas leak. So far, 7 are dead, including an 11-year-old and an 80-year-old. It is believed that another child remains missing in this rubble, along with a 50-year-old man who lived on the ground floor.
Armed forces on the lookout in China following an extremely rare prison break. Chinese state media say 3 inmates escaped today in the northeast part of the country after killing a guard. These men were awaiting trial, but not on charges. Not clear what charges just yet. Chinese jails and prisons are run along strict lines, and escapes are extremely rare.
Imagine getting back from your Labor Day vacation only to find your home ransacked. That's what happened to one Florida family when they got back from their trip to Alabama. Take a look. Their home was broken into. Someone just really made a mess. It appears someone, maybe even a group of people, went room to room, slashing paint all over the place, slashing furniture, and just smashing even TVs. They also stole 5 guns and dozens of medicine, mostly painkillers. In addition to the damage to this home, there was also a 1980 Corvette, just adding insult to that injury. The homeowner is hoping the serial numbers, though, on his guns will lead to an arrest.